makes me very happy about the space now that it has happened is that, I mean, this gets back to the conversation that we had at the beginning, right? Like, I'm interested in this concept of decentralized public goods funding, right? Like, I want things that are good and valuable to, as much as possible, also be things that can, economically sustain the people who produce them, right?
Yes.
Because if you don't have that, then either the public goods just don't get produced at all, or people make like centralized versions that have some of the properties and try to be substitutes, but actually just like concentrate control in a very small group, right? And both of those things are not very nice. So the nice thing about NFTs would be, well, if you're an artist and you can just mint NFTs and this is a source of revenue, then like, great, that's another stream of revenue for, creative work that often does still get underfunded, and that's amazing.
Okay, let me ask you a weird question. We talked about Craig Wright a little bit, but a lot of people write to me one of two emails. One email is calling any coin outside of Bitcoin a scam, and then the other email is saying my favorite coin is the best coin. It's going to save the world, whatever that coin is. And so I sit back and I look. I have no idea. I try to figure out like the humans that I trust in this space, just basic human qualities. But do you think some coins are scams? Do you think some coins, maybe another way to ask it, are scammier than other coins? How are people that are looking outside of the space where there's all of these cryptocurrencies supposed to figure out what is a scam and not, or how to use the right kind of language when talking about them? Because there's the harshness of the language from the Bitcoin maximalist that doesn't just say everything's a scam, including Ethereum, but they use terms like shitcoin that says it's not only a scam, it's like a waste of time. I mean, every word you can use, they say that. That's very harsh. And then some people are just apply the word scam much more conservatively and just refer to coins that legitimately are trying to scam people out of their money as scams. So what do we do with this word scam? Should it ever be applied to coins? And is it a binary thing, or is it a gray area?
I think it's definitely a gray area. Like, there's definitely things that are really and actually scams. Like, I mean, BitConnect would be one example of something that's way on the scam spectrum. Did you see their 2017 promotional video, by the way?
Of BitConnect?
Yeah. Hey. What's up, BitConnect? It was this 3-minute, 48-second video that was just of this guy making this totally crazy rant, and it was at some conference in Vietnam where they were, of course, like trying to convince a whole bunch of people to buy this coin, and they had these claims about how it would go up in value.
Yeah.
That was definitely like the peak of these pure completely scammy coins, and that was definitely really terrible. And I feel like we have less, despite cryptocurrency as a whole being bigger, we actually have quite a bit less of that now. But then, of course, there's this spectrum of things that are not completely scams, and then things that are not scams and that are technically totally fine projects, but where their community is just incredibly sketchy, and then all the way to things that are where the community is nice, but maybe the project is just fundamentally incapable of achieving what it's trying to do, and the community doesn't realize, and then really good projects, right? So, like, if you want to go a step, like, if that's 100% scam, then what would I call, like, say 80% scam? Well, like Bitcoin SV is one example. This is Craig Wright's fork of Bitcoin. Like, theoretically, it's a blockchain, right? It's a fork of Bitcoin. It has 512 megabyte blocks. If you really wanted to, you could use the blockchain. It satisfies the properties that you can send transactions onto it. You can probably use it as a backup to store your files if you really wanted to, just because it has so much space. It might fail, but like but at the same time, like, as we basically said, like, Craig Wright is a scammer, and like half the community is just totally batshit insane.
So the humans the humans of a particular cryptocurrency is what makes for a scam, and not like the humans at the top that have a voice guiding the community.
Yeah, like I think, in the case of BSV, like the humans, they make just completely wrong and just obviously wrong claims about like what BSV is capable of accomplishing and like what it conceivably could accomplish. And like there's just a lot of aspects of it that make it feel like a money grab. So that's one example. And then, you gotta go a bit further and then, you have like the Trons of the world. And like, that's a platform, you can use it, you can do stuff on it. But at the same time, like, they did plagiarize the IPFS white paper and then, they
so there's scammy qualities.
Yeah.
See, the thing that throws me off a lot, makes it very difficult for me, is that most coins, but the ones that make me feel like are scammy, have a large community of people that are super positive about it, like, and they'll write to me. Now that said, sort of on the flip side of that, Bitcoin people are also very positive. There's some sense, and the reason I was having like squinty eyes looking at Bitcoin for quite a while is like, why is everyone so positive? I was getting total cult vibes. Like the ideas are not grounded in truth, but are grounded in an obsession of like when you can artificially conjure up a truth, which is why I was a little bit like worried about Bitcoin. I think I've learned a lot since then, to where like I learned to separate the community from the ideas, and I think Bitcoin is a revolutionary idea on many fronts, but still a community that's like dogmatically excited about something, whatever that is, makes me skeptical. Maybe it's just like my upbringing, but when everybody's really excited about something, it makes me skeptical. And but it also makes me difficult to decide what is a scam or not, because some of the most exciting ideas in this world have a community of people who are excited about it, right? Because it's I don't know. I think space exploration is super exciting, and there's people, I know a lot of them, that are exceptionally excited about space exploration. Does that mean it's a scam? No. So I don't know what to do with that, and so mostly I just try to stay away, I suppose. But it's unfortunate, because I'm sure there's a lot of exciting technologies in that space.
I mean, like in the case of Bitcoin, like I would definitely not call Bitcoin a scam.
Right.
That's again.
Right.
I would also not call Litecoin a scam. There's people who call Litecoin a scam because they just like say, oh, look, it has no fundamental use case, and the concept of being silver to Bitcoin's gold is just like stupid, and like milli Bitcoin is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. But at the same time, like if you have these people who just they do seem to earnestly believe this, and like they are trying to just like make Litecoin be Litecoin as best as they can, then like that's, to me, that's enough for it to not be a scam. And then, so yeah, I think the biggest gray area is definitely between like projects that are earnest but they have just all sorts of these like different combinations of flawed qualities to them. Yeah.
I mean, the ones that legitimately is a scam is when the key people that are at the head of the project are intentionally lying. And I think as long as the intent is to try to do good in the world, even if your actual implementation of that is flawed, I think that's not a scam. It could be flawed ideas, it could be wrong ideas, but it's not a scam. I'm learning to navigate this space.
Yeah, it's definitely a very challenging space to navigate. I mean, it's in some ways a reflection of the world at large.
Yeah. And as we've said, maybe offline, that the fact that money is involved makes it a little bit more complicated. That lives can be ruined by the choice of technologies that are taken on. So it makes it more real, more painful, more like elevated